Hello everyone and welcome back to our penultimate game of the closed qualifiers. We just got to get through this one and one more to have our final 10 teams. Now we're moving on to T3 Savants versus Aggro. They are not necessarily in the elimination zone just yet, but a win here would all but guarantee their spot in our next season.
Yeah, to guarantee a spot, you need 6 wins or more. 5 wins will get you in, but like you mentioned earlier, Crow, one of these teams with 5 wins will be cut out. The tiebreaker will decide that in the end. So these two teams, they're looking to get that 5th win and make things happen, because a loss here, they don't have to win out, both of these teams, but they need one more win at minimum if they want to make this one happen. We do have, quite a bit of other high-stake matches going on. Some teams sitting either on the edge of defeat or who have already found that mark. Teams like Matt Squared, Aerial Arise, Didn't Ask, and Imperium and Nemesis all have to win both of these closing games to pull this one out if they want a shot at making this next season. But if you want to check out some of these matches, don't forget to check out our partner channels, twitch.tv/SFCL. You can check out some matches going on there, and twitch.tv/9ballesports. Forgot to shout out our partner streams earlier, so doing this one now. But we're getting on into this one. Cafe Dostoevsky is the map of choice for this pretty fun matchup we've got on our hands. Crow, what do you think we can expect?
Very aggressive play from Aggro, as you should assume, in T3 Savants. I'm not sure if they'll match that. They sure as hell might. They got GXD, they got Junior, two really good players in their own right. Unfortunately, they no longer have Imposta, a player who has, I think, quit the comp scene, someone I will, definitely dearly miss. Loved watching him play. And they replaced him with Turbo. Not quite sure how Turbo will play. I haven't had the privilege of casting him just yet, but the bans are already in. Maverick and Thatcher being our first 2 bans. That's going to make it a little bit difficult for the attackers. So you do leave all 3 of the other hard breachers up. So you still got Thermite, Hibana, Ace. You do still leave up the likes of Capitao, Nomad, all of them, but it's going to be significantly harder to get the utility off walls and out of choke points. Aggro will end up banning Valkyrie first, a very standard ban on Cafe, and I assume this ban from T3 Savants is Cade. No,
it's not.
Cade is up with a Mav Thatcher ban? Ooh.
That is going to... Yeah, that is going to be dicey for these attacking teams. Of course, you no longer have the Maverick and the Thatcher. You can rely on the Kali Lances, but those don't get you all that far. Not to mention, you have to bring a massive sniper that can hinder you in a couple of gunfights. The Pocket F2, that's quite a formidable weapon, so nothing to be overlooked there, but teams really don't love to pull out the Kali unless they absolutely have to. This may be one of those times, but as we've talked about on many a map, those invulnerable Electro Claws, you can really tuck them, hide them away from the range of those air lances from the Kali, and that can really hinder the attacks, especially on this basement bomb site, which relies more on that hard breaching utility compared to the others. On the side of Aggro, starting on attack, they will be bringing just the one hard breacher. Silent is pulling out the Ace and those Selma charges, and they'll have to worry about, just like we mentioned, GXD pulling out those Electro Claws.
This is gonna be interesting. GXD right now is probably like the most powerful operator on the board, next to Blanky, with no Thatcher Mav. Bakery wall is gonna be hard to get open. Freezer hatch might be hard to get open because you can get freezer hatch and both the freezer walls as well, but they'll actually have a rotate there because of course Blanky will be playing in VIP. You don't typically want to fully reinforce off freezer if you got someone playing VIP. So Blanky will sit there for as long as possible. And Aggro will start their take, of course, top down. Your best friend when it comes to these attacks now, I hate to sound like a broken record, but because the Cade is up and you don't have the other 2, you don't have Maverick and Thatcher, your best friend is going to be the vertical play to try and get it open, that and explosives. But Junior is just gonna peek the red hatch like a madman. You can tell Asian was just not expecting that. First casualty goes the way of Aggro as they lose their Ashe player. And
oh no.
Okay.
All right, Turbo. He is also going to get aggressive, and that means Ashen is going to say goodbye for the remainder of this round. That is your Ashe and your Zofia gone, so all of that hard or soft destruction ability is going to be no more for Aggro. Of course, you still have Eddie, so you have the Breaching Hammer, but you've lost 2 of your biggest guns in this round, and clearly T3 Savants, they don't mind just swinging on you. It seems that with those 2 picks, though, they have retreated a little bit and have... Wait a minute, did he just run across without being spotted? Eddie missing an opportunity there. Junior flirting with death for a moment, but he'll survive. GXD will take a couple of pot shots towards the red stairs, but Eddie, again, will just continue to pester this coat position. Here comes the nade. That's going to rain onto the toes of Donkey, but nothing much there. And Donkey now in reception should not be too vulnerable to this one. No, that one's not going to cut him down at all. And the vertical pressure is now going to have to come out. A C4 nearly killing Eddie, but just leaving him at about 1 HP for the remainder of this one. Junior still eager to swing around, darting back and forth in the bakery. But no players are down the stairs just yet. It's going to have to be a big old freezer send for Aggro.
Fortunately for Aggro as well, they spent a lot of time upstairs with their vertical play, but it hasn't really done much. In fact, it'll start working against them as GXD peeks up through the floor and gets kicked. C4 up, it does not find the kill, but it will down Eddie. Now it's just Silent. You can see the feet of the Cade. First frag for his team goes through the floor, but is it too little too late? 25 seconds left, Eddie on barely any HP, and you've got to try and make this transition down onto the site with only 1 pick to your name. The carpet wall has been open as well, and you haven't cleared coat checks. This is a power position for the Jaeger, but he loses that fight. Luckily enough, the crossfire is being held by Junior. Down goes Silent, and it's just Eddie. He knows it's pretty much hopeless. He'll just sit in the corner inside of Harry Potter, wait it out, bait for kills, but he knows the round is good and done. T3 Savants with their first defense.
Well, the aggression that you predicted, Chrome, it did happen, and it happened immediately. You called out Junior, the insane decision to just peek the red stairs hatch. That was the first kill. And then the second was Turbo, I believe, playing that Malusi in Reading Room, cutting down the player in Pillar. The Ashe and the Zofia gone from the board. It was an early disaster for Aggro, one that they will likely be looking to correct going forward. Of course, the bar and cocktail site, the top floor bomb site, hard destruction is not everything in the round. You don't need to necessarily open any hard walls if you go for more of a cocktail-sided execute, but if we do see that typical take from that piano side, from that west side, then once again, those electro claws are going to just seriously hinder the ability of Aggro to just make progress within a reasonable amount of time. Of course, there are ways to remove electro claws. You can work your way around, throw some nades on through. I mean, of course, Eddie has those nades, but those are so many things that just add steps to your attacking checklist. And on this top floor bomb site where your checklist already takes so long to accomplish strictly because of this pixel position and the combination of Turbo bringing out the Wamai, I really do think Aggro have their work cut out for them here. It will be, you know, a default hold coming out from T3 Savants, so nothing crazy. It's just the fact that with that Kaid on the board, with the bans that we have them, I think it's just something we're going to be talking about all night long, bro.
Yeah, I imagine he will have a 100% pick rate through this map just because of, again, he's so good now. What? Okay, Turbo just tried to impact the bar to try and deny the cover by the bar default and hit Blanky. So unfortunately for the smoke player, he'll be at half HP for the remainder of this round. And Aggro are already positioning themselves on the roof and in the skylight to, of course, do their default take. Now, the first Electro Claw that they'll come in contact with is the one on the red wall. That one's not too difficult to take care of. You've got nades, you got plenty of explosives, you can go below, do whatever. There is, I think, at least one Wamai disc covering it. Maybe not. I thought I saw Turbo going over there and setting up for it. And the other Electro Claw covering the freezer wall. that one is going to be a much more difficult project to try and get rid of, especially if it's placed somewhere hidden and away from any explosives. Eddie will be the first player to take a little bit of damage, but Turbo takes more, and in fact is finished off by Ashen. This time, the tables have turned, and already, in just a minute 20, not only have you taken pixel control, but you've also taken another kill. GXD goes down, that's a C4 off the board, and Aggro have full control of Cigar, Piano, and are up by 2 men. A C4 wasted as well from below, and Junior will go back wishing he got a pick there.
Yeah, big missed opportunity there from the Malusi, bringing out that C4, no impacts here, just going for that either plant denial or a big impact play, and just narrowly missing what could have been an absolute catastrophe for Aggro. Silent will be cut down. Donkey finishes that off, but he swings out to secure another, and Asian just pops off. He'll get 2, he'll get 3. No, that's Ashen who gets the 3rd, and Aggro take the bar and cocktail attack in very, very expeditious fashion. I mean, you highlighted as well, Crow. They cleared out Pixel instantaneously. And something that we said the time was going to be such a factor, turns out it wasn't much of a factor at all. Aggro, really a good job there.
Yeah, they did. They barely even had to step foot into sight. Nearly all of those kills, especially it was Asian actually got a triple kill as the Ash, not only getting 1 earlier, but also I think what, like 2 from New Balk, something like that. And Ashen was the one who killed. I believe he's the one who killed the Pixel player and was able to get the kill in a cocktail. T3 Savants were over peaking a lot, and Aggro were more than happy to hit their shots. I mean, you saw. I mean, all those kills came from Piano Repel, Cigar, and New Balk. Didn't even have to touch bar. So good job by Aggro to take advantage of T3 Savants' maybe overzealousness a bit there, but T3 Savants likely will play a little bit more passive, not get too ahead of themselves in this round. They're playing a very, very similar setup as are Aggro. You can probably assume that neither of these teams are going to be making too many changes regarding both their attacks and defenses. So hopefully T3 Savants play back just a little bit more.
I mean, clearly they were feeling confident. I mean, yeah, it is deserved. They performed so well in round number 1 by just swinging everything and winning their ones. I'll give that to them for sure. But obviously, those things are going to catch up with you at the end of the day. And Junior, he doesn't seem to mind getting aggressive again. He tempted the pre-fire outside of that small bakery window. Had he done so, he might have found one, but he's choosing to instead play his life and just make his position remain a mystery, at least for the time being. But early on, we're going to see how Aggro do this again. I mean, their quick attack worked so well last time. Why not really run with the same thing? Junior is going to go for another aggressive red hatch peek. He shot out the air jabs, so his position should be known. Not sure, though, if Aggro heard it because there were a lot of other gunshots happening at the same time. So he'll be just darting back and forth, attempting a peek on this hatch. The drone is not going to go down the stairs, only into Cigar and into Piano. So again, his position is unknown. Despite that, he is going to make the safer choice to retreat around to the white stairs and most likely support the team on the bomb site.
Aggro taking this site pretty much exactly the same as they did last time. Nothing much really has changed. You got Donkey below, trying to stop anyone over towards New Balk, and Turbo has at least survived in Pixel for 10 more seconds than he did in the last round, but he nearly loses his life. He gets lit up significantly, but the Pixel control is now in the hands of the attackers. But as I say that, Junior moves up, and he's able to get another kill, and a third! Junior, what? He just walks up to Cigar. There's no one playing the skylight to stop him. Peeks one in Piano, gets a kill through the glass on the counter, and turns around to find a repelled player. That play alone from Junior could have single-handedly just swung the round into T3 Savant's favor, as now it's Kicks and Asian in a 2 versus 4. Sure, Turbo is extremely lit up, but you've still got a C4 on Blanky. You've still got 3 gas canisters in the hands of GXD. Now, the wall is open. They do have an avenue and sight lines into the bomb site, but now it's just Kicks as his teammate falls to the hands of the Cade. A 1 versus 4, 40 seconds left. Good reaction on the Donkey, but doesn't check the corner, and Turbo who had been lit up previously holding Pixel, finishes off the round. Wow, Junior just going absolutely insane.
Junior just turning on another gear that we saw from him in round 1, but then had since been quieted down just a little bit there. But just before Junior was able to do that, the big difference in that round was the fact that Turbo stayed alive for just an extra few moments, and obviously until the end of the round. But in that moment where that, if taking a fight on Pixel would have ended Turbo's life, making that decision to back off, just narrowly escaping, made sure that the attackers would be tunnel visioned on Pixel for just a bit longer. That split second that the attackers remain focused on the Y, that is what allowed Junior to just go for it all. He found just the nastiest triple kill and just sent Aggro into a state of complete disarray. The pick, it was only, what is it, 2v4 at that point, and there was nothing they could do. There was simply nothing they could do to bring that one back. A great response for the T3 Savants. Oddly enough, the aggression again was what won it for them. They did not slow down, they didn't play more passively. I guess only Turbo did, choosing to not take that fight or play it a little bit more withheld, but for the most part, excellent job from T3 Savants, looking for those opportunities at every turn is what we saw from Junior, the Red Hatch opportunity, and then the Piano opportunity, and using those to capitalize, send Aggro just out of that round, and now they're taking the advantage once again.
That is a Junior moment, as we like to call it, back in the RSA days. So, T3 Savants able to finally make bar work, and they will go right back down to where they started, down inside a kitchen, where they were very successful, I think it's safe to say, the first time they played it. Donkey, though, all the way upstairs along with Junior. This is definitely a little bit of an adjustment from what we saw last time. T3 Savants played very anchor-heavy with an extension out into Freezer and Carpet. This time, they'll have that top-floor roam. Now, unfortunately for them, it's not one of the roamers who's picked off first, but it's their VIP player. Oh, no! Blanky, in a pivotal position to hold off that white Freezer push, gets cut down very early. And Aggro, I mean, it's only a one-man advantage, but concerning the utility and positioning, now going into this round looking very good.
Yeah, that's a great start.
What is this?
We are seeing Junior go for the antics once again. His position not known. How does he? Oh my goodness! Dude, throwing that away. Oh my, he will cut down Agent though. And now his position is known. He's going to go for the swing again. He just does not care. He's going to reload. He's going to walk into the gunfight, reloading. And Ashen is going to win that gunfight every time. Junior.
Okay.
What? What?
I'd like to report a certified Junior moment. That's normally what we refer to as a Junior moment. It's usually it's usually stuff like that. That was I guess the gold standard of questionable decision making, but it's a kill for Aggro nonetheless. Eddie's been downed from somewhere. I think maybe that long angle through the floor, but he'll be rezzed, so it's still a one-man advantage for Aggro. However, we now see the time, the clock, rear its ugly head as it did in round number 1. Aggro are running out of it. 43 seconds left, and they are just now moving on to their vertical play. The Malusi moving up. Oh no, she gets distracted by the air jab. Nearly gets the kill on the Silent, but the AK-12 is better. Now it's GXD and Donkey. C4 up. Does not find the kill. A wasted nitro there from the Cade. Now they'll have to play completely with their guns. Sledge still lording above with 20 seconds left as Donkey falls. Ashen with a big triple kill. And now it's just Tyson in the 1 versus 4. He's able to get down 1, just put him in the DBNO state. But Ashen is there with the flank from Whiskey Double to secure a big 4K. Aggro tie up the score 2-2.
This is what matches generally look like when you've got just unbridled aggression coming out from at least one of the teams. And that's exactly what we're seeing from the T3 Savants right now. And what I mean by that look is one round will look like the defense is just on another level, seemingly impenetrable, with the attacking team just sucking because the aggression makes them look so bad. But then you've got the complete other side of things where the round can look just like we witnessed, with it looking like an active throw at every turn. Because over peaking and over aggression, it can work here and there, but in that round, clearly, it was not the answer for the T3 Savants, repeating their first floor bomb site of Kitchen and repeating the same aggressive strategy. But this time, Aggro proved that they were a little bit more prepared for it.
Yeah.
Obviously, that round started off with Junior just being an absolute goober, and then everyone on T3 Savants was like, you know what? Let's channel some of that Junior energy. Let's swing everything and just be monkeys. And I gotta give it up to them. It has worked. The 2 rounds they've won because of that aggression and because of their gun skill. But the 2 rounds they've lost because of the very same thing.
Yeah, that was Junior got the pick, and instead of scurrying away like the rat he is, he walked at him. That was weird. Maybe the 1.5 on the Roni instead of the Vortex Hollow is what helps. But actually, wait, is it Vortex or Viper?
I don't know.
One of those. It's one of those two. Yeah, neither do I. It kind of blows. But I mean, this is what we love to see from a game, right? Adaptation. The defenders win a site. Next time they go on it, the attackers know what to do. Attackers take a site. Next time, the defenders adjust where they're playing and all the like. See, both sites, they're 1-1. That's what you love to see. Nice, even game. Now, we'll see if they're able to readjust and take their site again. And Junior, that's not going to work. Not going to work again. Asian is very ready. He's like, hey, what if this guy swings red stairs? And what do you know? He did. Good job, Asian. First pick, Junior down.
Good start here from Aggro again. Junior just doing Junior things. He got aggressive, but the kill could not be found.
Another Junior moment, as we say.
Another Junior moment. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of the Junior moments, it seems, and his story will not be able to unfold at least in round number 5. The story is going to be instead how quickly Aggro can get this vertical pressure going. If the T3 Savants don't just challenge on this second floor and stay on the bomb site, I think they could really bring this back. It's not too much of an uneven situation. The Mozzie obviously losing Junior, that's not ideal, but you can recover from that. You've got your anchors still alive, you've got Toxic Babes in pocket, your Malusi Banshees, those Wub-Wubs on the bomb site, ready to stall out this push. Of course, the next 30 seconds, however, will be dictated by this vertical play. How much can Aggro find here, forcing T3 Savants to move on around? Same thing goes for the Savants. Can they find some C4s of their own? GXD won't be able to find his, leaving Turbo, the only Nitro cell remaining, in pocket. The Sledge, again, looking for these vertical angles. Nothing is found just yet. That's Turbo, the one I mentioned with the C4, playing in VIP to hold off this White Stairs push.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Turbo will get the first frag for his team, playing in the VIP position where Blanky had unfortunately suffered last round. And, well, Kix just flanks him. He just walks through the restaurant double window towards the back of VIP, and down goes Turbo. Now they have complete control of the White Hall as well as Freezer, where they can start making their attack. But Blanky, he's looking to delay that a little bit with the toxic gas canisters. Only 20 seconds left, and with one still in his pocket as well, Aggro are not really making good time. But as I say that, okay, I don't know how Ashen just got in, but he is. He's now dead, but it's all left to GXD inside the site. He's got to fight against 3 players. 10 seconds left. Plant going down, no C4 in pocket. He'll have to swing onto these players. He gets one great shot into the Freezer, but Eddie is still upstairs using that vertical play well to his advantage, and Aggro, for the first time in this game, will take the lead.
Well, we got a couple of things to talk about here. First of all, that is the first time we've seen a team in this map go 2 rounds in a row. It's been back and forth, back and forth. Finally, Aggro lining up both kitchen attacks, rounds 4 and round 5. That puts them in the lead, and with, we'll call it the momentum, at least for now. But the other thing, the issue that time for T3 Savants, of course, the swing from Junior didn't help things along, but it came down to a bit more fundamental mistakes on the bomb site itself. There were 2 issues of where the exact same problem occurred, where one player wasn't quite communicating where they were watching. The crossfires were not being set up. One example was Donkey holding in coat, looking towards the restaurant area, the tables behind VIP, and also looking towards that small bakery side as well, rotating his attention back and forth. But because Donkey wasn't focused on tables while the Nomad, I believe that was Kicks, who just walked right on in and just destroyed Turbo. That wasn't communicated appropriately, so Turbo wasn't aware that the back was not being watched, and as a result, Turbo died. The same thing went for when the actual execute came on through. There was, I believe, Blanky was a smoke player in the previous round. He was holding off the push from the freezer side, but then a player just walked in, hopped over the freezer half wall, and killed him. Again, because it wasn't communicated that there was nobody watching that angle. Maybe it wasn't communicated, or maybe simply they just didn't have anybody watching that angle, but regardless, those are more fundamental mistakes here that were made by the T3 Savants. Possible that the aggression and losing Junior early on definitely gets in their heads, but regardless, not the way they wanted that one to unfold, especially now that Aggro have taken that lead for the first time.
Job, Aggro. That's what we love to see. Now T3 Savants, well, they're on the back foot. Cafe defense tends to be the advantageous side, though we're not, unfamiliar with 3-3 halves. It's really on the defense now to try and get that remaining round. They're going to try on Bar Cocktail, a site that they are also 1-1 on. You don't really want to go back to Kitchen once you've lost it twice. Playing a site 3 times is, well, typically not the play. So, good job, T3 Savants, for not tossing. Oddly enough, for the first time, I really thought he was going to have a 100% pick rate, but for the first time, we're not seeing a Cades. That's going to allow Aggro to pretty much hard breach to their heart's content, completely unabated. They've got the red wall open in record time, and next, of course, is going to be to clear Pixel. They've done it pretty swiftly. Every round they've attacked this site, a minute, 20, minute and a half, and as I say that, though, they'll, actually leave the shield up for now. So Turbo be able to stay there for a little bit. No, never mind. Caster's Curse. I lied. Shield goes down. Turbo forfeits Pixel.
Well, the good thing is Turbo is still alive. This is shaking out similarly to the way that T3 Savants were able to win this round, keeping your Wamai in the fight, this time with 100 HP instead of simply just about 5. So definitely an improvement here for the T3 Savants. The one problem, you highlighted the lack of the Cade. That means the freezer wall has been opened wide by those Selma charges, and it's going to be even harder to anchor down on this bomb site. Asian looking on through. Donkey going to challenge up towards the new Balk player, but Ashen is there to make sure Donkey feels the pain for that aggression. Blanky feeling some pain as well. A couple of shots being delivered by Kicks, and really things just going back and forth here. Finally, the plant is going to go down. Silent sticking that diffuser on Trash. Nobody is there to stop it. It's going to go down. Where was the response? GXD finally getting one with his smoke, removing Silent, so that was called out at least. But Donkey's now thrown across the room. Turbo on the swing, looks for one, but gets denied. Junior collapses on Eddie. Kicks and Ashen will get a double kill of their own. Ashen gets another, taking down Junior. Blanky gets one with the Alda, removing things back even into a 2v2. A full lobby when the plant went down. That's why we're seeing just so many kills on this retake, but Blanky is going to have to make something happen. There's a prone player in Cigar who's not challenging yet. The coverage here from GXD, but Asian on the coverage will take down Blanky. It's now a 1v1. GXD needs to stick this diffuser. No longer can get off it. This should be an easy win for Asian. It will. Aggro. Nice attack.
Wow, beautiful stuff from Aggro in that round. Like you said, sure, Turbo was able to spare his life, and we were even. 5-5. Full lobby, but the plant going down on Trash Wall was just never denied. Silent got it almost for free. I mean, sure, he got killed by the gas canister, but at that point, damage done and good post-plant positions. You saw nearly every fight the defenders won was a 2 versus 1 engagement. Aggro just were not giving them any ground for free. You had to have 2 players swinging a piano to kill that guy, and 1 was traded off. You had 2 players have to kill the guy in Cocktail. At that point, it was a 2v2, sure, and yeah, they killed the guy Cocktail. Or sorry, not Cocktail, you killed the guy Cigar, but Asian, upstairs, playing passively, knowing that, sure, his Zofia may die, but Asian doesn't need to peek, and I like that. I like that he didn't immediately try to go for the trade until the defenders started defusing, because the defenders had no intel on him. They had no idea Asian was up there, but he played just passively enough. He didn't go for the refrag. 1, he didn't go for the refrag because it's an unnecessary risk. 2, it would have given the intel to the defenders, and 3, letting GXD, or sorry, not GXD, letting I think it was Blanky, hop onto the diffuser and try and counter defuse. First, wasted enough time that GXD had to stick it and had absolutely no chance of fighting that Skylight. Great job to Asian and Aggro as a whole in that post plant, and they take the half 4-2, and now they're moving on to their defense. It's looking pretty good going into the second half for them.
Yeah, Aggro definitely in a solid position here. 4 rounds on attack. It's not unprecedented, but it is not the most common occurrence. Usually Cafe, you mentioned it, very defensive sided, or at the very least, it'll go 50-50. But to see an attacking team actually get that advantage. Oh, someone wants to send that message to you.
Hi, Asian.
Oh.
Red dot is the... All right, man. You know...
That's a hot take.
You know, I love you, man, but I don't know if I can stand with you on that. You know who you should ask though? JJ. JJ loves red dots. Me personally though, nah. I don't. I'd rather run the hollow.
I don't think Ashen is running red dot. I mean, if we could take a look at Ashen and actually see.
Asian runs red dot on the Ash Jaeger.
I mean, see that.
It works though. He's 7-4. So
I mean, look.
Okay,
he's
this red dot.
Ready to go.
This red dot bangs. The other red dot.
This is a good. This is like a legit pick. The other one is atrocious.
I run the red dot on that. The other red dot, not great. They know exactly where this guy is. Okay.
Well, weird.
Asian at least gets the refrag, so they keep step. I mean, you lose Ashen, you lose a C4, but you've taken out Junior, who is pivotal in taking out things like shields, things like Maestro, Evil Eyes, the Banshees, and I literally just noticed that Eddie is Goyo. So losing the Ash, definitely a killer blow to T3 Savants' attack. Donkey is still clearing downstairs as well, which means he's not upstairs clearing utility, despite being one of 2 operators who can do so, the other being Turbo with his nades, but we'll need those ADSs to be cleared first. Turbo, though, with a great reaction or a pre-fire, whichever one it was, drops silent behind B2, playing that cheeky Maestro angle. Someone has moved in to reclaim Pixel. It's the Goyo. He gets the red ping, and down goes Turbo. Easy kill for him. Now we're back to even man count 3v3. 54 seconds left, and Asian inside of Freezer. Incredible shot. Down goes Donkey, and Aggro are in prime position to win the round in a 3v2, and only 45 seconds left to delay.
Yeah, GXD and Blanky need to make something happen here, but an obvious lack of utility to deal with 2 remaining deployable shields. The early pick onto Junior. A lot more impact than I think the T3 Savants were hoping. Obviously, you've got the Selma charges. That's something, but it does not seem that that's going to be a priority here. GXD gonna start the smoke dump and start the swing. Okay, Blanky, he'll get one onto Eddie. GXD nearly getting the shot onto Asian there, but the Jaeger will avoid that fate quickly. Now it's just gonna be all about playing passively. Does not seem that Asian wants to do that, nor will Kix, but his hop-up with the SMG-11 will net the kill. He's actually caught out of position here. If Blanky can line up this pre-fire, it would be big, but the Malusi Banshee is gonna stop him in his tracks, despite a messy little ending there. For Aggro, it will be their round.
Well played to Kix. Not peek. Dude, I can feel it. I can feel it in his bones. He wanted to pop up and get that kill because he had the intel, but he played passive. Good job. Glad he didn't peek, because if he lost that fight with a second left, then man, his team would have been pissed. But he knows that there's only 2 seconds left. Nomad is stuck in the Banshee. He knows exactly where she is. If he just hides, there's nothing she can do. She either has to stick the plant or just run out of time. So Aggro in that round. First off, great roam by Asian. Second off, the roam not only netted kills, but netted some very important operators. 2, when he comes back to site, the anchors popped off. Goyo killing the sledge. Zofia falling as well. Your first 3 deaths on the attack are your only people who can deal with all of the indestructible utility that Aggro brought. They were playing well into the utility soak, despite the new changes. Goyo, Malusi, Maestro, Jaeger, Smoke, and you just couldn't deal with it at all. I mean, did we see them even use any of their utility? Maybe the Zof, but I'm pretty sure Junior died with all 3 of his Ash charges and at least 2 in his pocket, and Turbo died with both nades. So
10 seconds.
T3 Savants, utility usage in that round, not on point. Roam clear, not great. Site execute, even worse. Aggro, fantastic job. They are now up 5-2. They have a whole site rotations worth of a lead, and they're in prime position to just take the next 2 rounds and win this map and put themselves up. And I believe they'll have 5 points. Yeah. If Aggro, so whoever wins this game, again, like we mentioned earlier, it's not a guarantee that they'll be in the league, but it's a pretty damn good chance.
One piece of utility that I think was used, they got rid of the pixel shield. So to some extent, they handled part of their job. But when you're dealing with 3 deployable shields all facing piano, I mean, that just takes a lot of time and a lot of utility, something that T3 Savants did not have. Those are the opportunities where you just, at least for me personally, I desperately want to see a cocktail attack. I don't know why teams just refuse to bring out the cocktail attack, because there's always so much less pressure devoted, on the defensive side at least, to holding down cocktail. You just, get some vertical play going in reading room. You get a lot of pressure going from the cocktail window and the heaven window, a crossfire from the skylight, and you've got a really good attack going. Teams just hate it. Teams just refuse to do it. It requires so much more coordination and so much more creativity than your average piano attack, and no doubt that's in part why, but those are the situations. When you see that much utility devoted to piano, you've got to change things up, unless you have, an hour and a half and, 3 ashes on the board where you can get all of that utility cleared. Regardless, we're seeing how round 8 is going to shake out. This time, it's going to start in the favor of T3 Savants. Junior will find the opening pick onto Asian.
Junior's revenge, the Jaeger that felled him early in the last round, will instead have the script flipped. But Ashen is quick for the trade. Blanky dead, and you lose your Nomad. If all 3 of those air jabs were not set up, unfortunately I didn't actually get to catch how many he had sent out, but if there were any still left in the pocket, shutting down those staircases is a huge part of the vertical play to ensure that your sledge stays safe. Now that you don't have those, you can be very susceptible to a wayward flank, either up yellow or up red, or maybe even up brown. A little bit of damage will be done to said sledge from a nitro cell, but luckily enough for him, it won't actually find the kill, so Ashen will whiff. Eddie still has one in his pocket, but he'll play pretty aggressively into prep. Did Junior just misdrone him? Yes, he did! Oh no, you saw Junior's drone go past, he didn't check the corner, and that'll directly result in the death of his teammate, and a C4 to boot. Eddie! 2 huge kills. Down go GXD and Turbo. Your sledge dead. Your hard breacher gone. And now your Ashen side of prep is dead too, thanks to Silent. It's Donkey in a 1v4. 10 seconds left. This round is pretty much impossible. Ladies and gentlemen, Aggro are now on match point.
Aggro have just turned it on. This was back and forth. You and I were saying, Crow, this one could go the distance. We're seeing every single round. There were adaptations, there were pivots, everything was changing up back and forth and back and forth. But since T3 Savants took their second round in round number 3, it has been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unanswered rounds from Aggro. Very impressive stuff. They are seriously running away with this one now. Feels a lot like our previous map, honestly. This is just the way things started out, like with Neo and Aerial Arise on Villa, then all of a sudden Neo just went on a tear, much like Aggro is doing right now. I don't know what T3 Savants can change up here. It seems that nothing they're doing is working. When you have a player like Eddie who's just gonna sit in a corner, rat on you, and then just get a perfect C4, there isn't much you can do, apparently. And the T3 Savants are definitely learning that the hard way.
Yeah, it's almost like deja vu from the last map.
Yeah.
We thought this was gonna go the distance, but instead it was pretty tight in the beginning, but Aggro have just gone away with it, just like we saw Aerial Arise and Neo go toe-to-toe, and then Neo run away with the match, especially, when you got players like Eddie ratting on you and then getting a free C4 kill. I mean, it doesn't look like there's much you can do.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Well, I guess
I hope you like my deja vu
5
pick.
seconds to go.
It was all right. It was all right.
Man.
Given that I had just highlighted it, I'm like,
Attackers
bro,
must
come on,
locate
man. I mean,
and defuse a bomb.
no, but good bit.
Thanks.
Strong.
Ooh,
Still not as
Aggro
good
are
as you.
leading. Dude, we finally get to see the tertiary site after
Yeah, this is the
8
first time.
rounds. Let's go.
First time all map, in fact, that we've seen this. It was what? Kitchen, bar, bar, kitchen, kitchen, bar, bar, kitchen. So now we're finally seeing a change because Aggro are just insane and they've won both of the primary and secondary bomb sites already. So going into this one, it's going to come down to the vertical play as it usually does and how quickly the T3 Savants can actually do this and actually clear out any sort of vertical pressure. The first step, however, will not be getting absolutely destroyed by a C4 from below. Silent is there with the heartbeat scanner, so he knows where the pressure is mounting from, and Eddie is standing close behind him. Not to mention that these defenders have 4 C4s in pocket. Doesn't matter though, for now, the C4 will not be the first kill. It will be Asian, who gets the kill onto Junior, the 416, rather than the Nitro Cell. This top floor extension is working out so far.
You see a big part of that pick as well was the info. Pulse calling out those positions inside of Cigar, letting Asian know, hey, he's on your doorway, swing his ass, and Junior was dropped. Now, a minute 40 left. Unfortunately, you can't C4 that spot. You saw them shoot the C4 back down. You can C4 that, though. As soon as they walk through the double door, one of those players will surely be dead. It could be the Nomad, but no, it's good. No, they're not clicking it. They're being too passive about it. If only they had hit the trigger sooner. That could have been a free kill on either Blanky or GXD, but the defense will have to settle for just damage. Kicks nearly gets caught on his rotate down the laundry hatch, but he'll only be dealt damage, and he'll actually go back up white, it seems, for a wayward C4, but it doesn't catch the Nomad. Shot in midair, it appears. Great reaction by Blanky, but still 1 minute left, and Aggro still lead by 1 man. Now, luckily for T3 Savants, the top floor has been vacated. They can start doing their vertical presence down onto reading. GXD very lit up, though, and he's going to be the man going for the plant, meaning he's going to be very susceptible to any swings or nitro cells. Silent somehow, what? He's alive? I don't know how he lived. Blanky is at least able to find some sort of response onto kicks. Now your Goyo's dead. That's one of your, I think that was your only C4 left, if I'm not mistaken. And now you're only going to be able to deny the plant with direct gunfire. You're going to have to try and swing that planter. But Blanky cutting off the flank. He'll get a second. Down goes what little was left of that pulse. 4 versus 3 as T3 Savants now have that man advantage, and they're going to have to go for this push. Smokes out from GXD to maybe try and bait out utility or try and get the push into the doorway. He needs to get behind that cupboard, but Asian left unchecked inside of mining. The Zof doesn't see him, but Eddie goes down. It's just Ashton and Asian, but here comes the push through the smoke. He can shoot the planter right there. No, he kills his teammate. Just shoot to your left. He'll find it as Asian gets a triple. What just happened? Blanky gets the trade, but it doesn't matter. A massive flank and a sneaky play from Ashen. Aggro somehow tear that round away and win the map 7-2.
What? What?
Ashen just TK'd and then killed the planter with like half a second left. Meanwhile, Asian walks into pillar and kills 3 people. Like what? Well, considering Asian went 12 and 6 and top fragged the lobby, you know what, buddy? Maybe Red Dot is the best site in the game, because holy, what a performance from him and Ashen and Aggro as a whole. They are now, they're not yet totally confirmed for Season 5, but with 5 wins, they've got a pretty good chance.
What a way to end it.
Wow, what a round.
what a way to end it. And
holy.
I mean, ending it off 7-2. Pretty dominant victory for them there. Running away with it, obviously after those first 3 rounds we talked about, Aggro never looked back. A incredibly strong performance, and now they're looking pretty solid. If they get the next win, they will be guaranteed part of our next season, Season 5, but they still have a chance. Regardless of what happens in the next one, 5 wins, you now get considered for that tiebreaker. I guess we can use this opportunity to take a breather from that ridiculousness and
yeah,
and look at other matches that have been shaking up. There's one that is really catching my eye. It is the Wichita Wolves.
What?
Following their victory against Windstorm, a surprising one, they just destroyed the Gatekeepers 7-2.
Does that mean Wichita Wolves are in?
That's what it means.
Wow, Wichita Wolves and Gatekeepers are now our only 2 teams 100% guaranteed for SCS Season 5. Congratulations to both of those squads. Project Neo and Aerial Arise as well, I believe, both taking wins in their respective matches. Aerial Arise 7-2ing Ascension and Project Neo 7-1ing Didn't Ask. So Project Neo, now with 5 wins, very good chance to make it in. Aerial Arise now with 4. They need to win their next game if they even want to be considered. Otherwise, if it's a loss, they are out.
Yeah, for Didn't Ask, the team that lost to Project Neo, that's their 5th loss. That means they are out of contention.
That's true.
Same thing goes for Ascension, who lost to Aerial Arise. They are out. So 2 more teams relegated to the no hope category of this one. But they definitely had a good performance. They won a couple of strong games, but this season it will not be for them. Nemesis is also on the chopping block, playing Emergence right now. Emergence is already out of it. But I'm not sure. I guess Emergence elected to play. So we'll see how that one shakes out. They could destroy the hopes of Nemesis here if they deliver Nemesis just that quick loss. That would be Nemesis' 5th loss and would be unrecoverable at that point.
I also just noticed Matt Squared have also forfeited against Imperium, so they are out as well. We will not see the Collegiate Demons. So the teams we have left in this qualifier before the rest of the matches finish, we have from bottom up, Nemesis, Slaughterhouse Bravo, T3 Savants, Aggro, Windstorm, Toys, Aerial Arise, Imperium, Veil, Honor, PDHM, Synthetic, Neo, and Gatekeepers and Wichita Wolves. 15 teams left, 13 of them not necessarily qualified for the league just yet. So it's still a pretty tight race. Of course, we can accept 8 more of these teams, which means 5 of them will be eliminated in, well, when this round finishes up as well as the next. So it's pretty hotly contested, and I mean, you love to see it from closed quals. All the teams so far have, we don't have any undefeated teams just yet. Well, I just watched the round back on stream. It is still quite the spectacle to see Ashen wading through the smoke and finally killing the planter, and then Ashen just flanking everyone and shutting down the round. But yeah, I guess we'll end on a high note.
Sure.
That's it for now. We got to take a break and wait for the rest of the matches to finish. And after that, well, we only have one more game. So don't go anywhere.
Indeed.
Stay tuned. We will have the final round of SCS closed qualifiers just after this intermission.